Sound and data.
Here I am with my good friend, Bert Barten. And so I met Bert when I was at Stein in Amsterdam, but we became good friends over the course of many years. And he was known for his work in psychedelic rock, the Pink, what did you say, the Pink Floyd of?
They called us the Dutch Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Dutch Pink Floyd. But you were sort of doing what? Chill
Ambient tracks.
ambient tracks, beautiful stuff,
And
NYXS and some of
yes,
these
yes.
other bands.
And
Go
one of
ahead.
the specialties was site-specific events I did, the big ones, the big theater plays.
Later on, you were doing the Faust and the giant
Yeah, all the big,
setup and
yeah.
the blind version of the Odysseus and many
I
very
forgot.
interesting
Yeah.
theater pieces, and also a lot of documentaries and stuff. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
So, but we're going to talk specifically about this project that we've been working on off and on for the last 10 to 15 years. I started with trees on the internet, and then it became talking trees.
Yes, talking trees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the idea is to try to find that magic boundary between science and art. You're saying there are going to be 10 forests in the Netherlands
Netherlands, yeah.
immediately and then spread it out around the world. It ends up being one of these big data problems, right?
Yes.
Where we are, if there's 10 forests, how many trees in each forest?
Well, this is very interesting. I'm talking also to a guy called Peter Wohleben in Germany, and he's a forestier, and he just wrote a book, and you have to read it.
Okay.
It's The Secret Life of Trees,
Oh,
and
I think I know this. Yeah.
it's translated in 36 languages. It came out about 5 months ago, I think.
Yeah, I think you sent me a link 4 or 5 months ago.
Yes, exactly. And this is such an interesting guy and he says the mother trees in the forests are the most important. They give out information to the other trees. They feed other trees, and he's a specialist in that. So if we take one mother tree out of a forest to monitor that, we know a lot about the trees that stand around it. So actually, if you've seen the movie, what's it called, with the blue people running around?
Avatar.
Avatar, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's they have a mother tree in there, and it's real. This is actually
Now,
what is happening
from what
in
I
our forests as
understand,
well.
that's at the mycelium level, right? It's like they use fungus to communicate.
Yes, and there's one tree more important than the other ones. So we were thinking about hooking up, say, 10 forests in the Netherlands, with 10 mother trees in the Netherlands and 10 mother trees in Europe. And so we're talking about 30 mother trees in the world.
And to sense the mycelium,
Yeah, I tell you about it. This is the specialty of Liesje Mommer.
right?
Liesje invented a few devices because the mycelium, there's roots running from the grasses and from the roots of the trees into the grasses, into the fungus, and she designed a very special thing. She injects colors into the roots, and then she can follow the trail of communication through the grasses and the miscellaneum. The only one in the world who can do that.
Aha. And then that
And that,
returns probably as light, right? So she detects it with
yes,
camera.
yes,
Okay, well
yes.
that fits in with the research I've been doing with these Raspberry Pi infrared chlorophyll detectors.
Okay.
Because the real problem is the speed at which the trees change and communicate is not at a human speed. It's a much slower
It's much slower, yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
from all my experience, I just made these huge drones that just barely changed over, maybe 10, 20 minutes, And
Yeah.
so I was trying to think of a way of making it exciting for humans to listen to, but still have the core information about the trees there for the trees. And
Yeah.
this is a problem we will need to solve if we're going to do this right.
Yeah, especially in wintertime, they are in hibernation, all the trees, so there's not much
Exactly.
happening.
But who knows? Well, I mean, we might find that there's something going on, you don't know.
Exactly. So this is all very exciting. Now, the most data and the most clear data come in at the University of Ghent, of Katie Stepper.
Right.
And
I've been communicating with her.
yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I asked her for static data, and so we could do an experiment with it, you know?
Yes.
So we don't have to follow it 24 hours a day, just a piece of action with data, so we can experiment and see how it works.
That's very common. I mean, I've been doing that
Yeah,
with EEG data lately and a lot of things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is what I asked for, but she's on holiday this week, so this is a little bit of a problem in
Ah,
communicating. I think she's back this week, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So then she will pick up the email, I think.
okay, great. Yeah, so we'll start from there and start doing it. In the meantime,
Yes.
there's this connection to China is mainland China, I imagine,
Yeah.
with Peter.
That's yeah,
Yeah,
that's mainland China, yeah, and
yeah.
they are monitoring those trees already for 30 years. Frank is doing that.
Frank, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Sterk, and also in Brazil he does it, and he knows a lot of people in the world who are monitoring nature as well. But trees is especially his area where he works in
Yeah, okay.
because
So I mean, I think the thing we really need to do is take a look at that data and see what kind of interesting evolving sound we can create over the course of a day, because that's what I remember from my work with this, is that
yeah.
the flow, all the sap goes up to the leaves, and then in the night it comes back down to the roots, and it's like a 12 to 24-hour cycle depending on the light.
Yeah, Katie told me about that. The water is going up, but at the same time coming down also,
Aha.
and that is also very interesting. I thought, because then you have this movement that keeps on going instead of only going up, you know. And this is a recent discovery. It's not so long ago that they discovered that the water is also going down.
Aha. I hadn't heard
And
about that. I mean, one of the things I'm doing with this other project is just because there's been so much buzz about the 432 tuning instead of 440. Because when you do kymatics, the shape of the water looks more, I don't know, interesting and detailed. And so I've been doing these drones that are set to harmonics of the 432.
yeah.
And I was thinking an experiment to try is to then have that just very slowly offset by the different data flows that we'd be examining.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to really dig in on this. We're really at well, it's not the beginning. I mean, we're about 10 years in, but
Yeah, we're 10 years in.
but you know, this is a new phase. I mean, the other pieces are
Yeah,
sort of gone dormant, and so we're starting the next phase here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
there's another guy I want you to know. That's Peter Stone.
yeah.
Peter Stone. Peter Stone lives in Helsinki,
Okay.
and you have to put in on the web symbolicComposer.com.
Okay.
And what a symbolic composer does, and this is very interesting, he put all the data of composers in there, from Beethoven and Bach, and but also country and western, and what you can do with chords and tones. He's put it in the symbolic composer, and it's his invention. He sells it as a program. You can buy it, but if you can download the demo version, and I would love to to have a look at it.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Yeah.
Whatever sounds we pick up, we could throw it through the symbolic composer and tell tell the tree, okay, we want your sounds, or whatever sounds we use, played like Bach, you know?
Yeah. Well, this reminds me of David Cope's experiments in music intelligence, where he also
Okay.
decodes the styles and that kind of things. I worked with him very early on those projects, and it's a real
Okay.
interesting area of things, and actually not an area of sonification that I've done. I mean,
Yeah.
when I did that research, it was more just about musical style and not about trying to find this bridge between art and science like we're doing.
Okay. So why I say this is I want myself out of the composition. I can be the filter, but not. I want the pulse of nature to be heard,
Right.
and not. So there's a. I want to step out, something like that, out of the process.
No, this is an ongoing. A lot of the conversations I have on the Sound and Data channel are regarding this idea of having something that is authentically scientific and still has the kind of, booty is maybe the wrong word, but has the quality that we expect from a musical gesture.
Yes.
And so you do have to intervene. I mean, at some point you have to,
of course,
be the craftsman. And that's where I guess you and I come in, really. I mean, we're not scientists. Let's face it. But we have this set of craft that is important to understanding doing this. That's so interesting and actually so undeveloped. That's kind of the weird thing. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that's an area. So now I talked to a lot of people in my surrounding, and they all tell me, Bert, that's a great concept that you have.
Yeah.
But what's the project?
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Tomorrow I'm talking to my directing assistant, Bert Barten.
Oh yeah.
And then she helps me also in organizing everything. And we have to set up an organization to do all this and to get this organized.
Yeah.
And we're going to make a list. What can we do with this? How can we bring it out? Because all the people, all the forestiers, they all sit in labs looking at this stuff. It is very interesting to break open and bring it to a broader audience. And then what is the message that we are giving to the world with this?
Now, I have an interesting side note here because in my work, I've been trying to reintegrate the sound with what you see. In other words, when you're talking about data, a lot of times, and people don't admit this, but most sonifications include the graph that's being sonified.
Yes.
And what I would really like is to go ahead and graph some data that works better as a visual thing, supplement that with the sound that augments the experience to the point where there's a more full comprehension.
This is great. This is what I was thinking also.
Yeah.
And have you ever heard of Lynn Taggart?
Oh, that sounds familiar, but no, I've not.
She wrote a book, The Field.
Oh, yes, I know where you're going. Yes.
Yeah, and
kind of like Rupert Sheldrake kind of area of stuff.
Half of the scientists think it's bullshit that she does. And the other half thinks it's great.
Yeah.
And she got her data from a professor called Poppe in Germany, and he had a big institute to find out of this field of consciousness, and there's a lot of names, the 0 point field, the united field from the Maharishi, and the Akasha field.
Do you know Rupert Sheldrake? Have you heard of him?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
So the same kind of area, and it often characterized as fringe science.
Yes. It's on the edge, it's on the edge that they're working. Now, this institute in Germany is doing a lot of research in the quality of soil, the quality of water, in Moto, of course.
Yeah, right.
And they do a lot of vegetables also, and they test what is healthy for people and not. And he built a whole institute, and Lynn Taggart, all the knowledge that she used came out of this institute. And now my friend Dolph Zantingen, he got rich with an internet company in Silicon Valley that he had together with Ross Perot.
Okay.
He was going for president in America one day.
Yeah, I know Ross Perot. Yeah, sure.
Yes, that one.
His right-hand man, Mort Meyerson, made the Symphonic Hall here in Dallas. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then he had some money left, and he bought the whole institute because Popper was quite old. And then he moved it. And he moved it to Amersfoort, a place 30 kilometers here from Amsterdam.
I know exactly where that is.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he invited me over 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
I was there, and he has these cameras that are most sensitive cameras in the world. He says, I don't know exactly. I only saw a camera,
Right.
but he can film with nearly no light, and that is very interesting because he's putting them in the earth, where it's dark, and then he still picks up signals. And that's so interesting.
Yeah, that is. I mean, there's some other research I've seen where chlorophyll generates light
Yes.
as well, and inside the trunk, they just discovered some
Yeah.
phytology stuff I was reading. Anyway, listen, we don't want this to go too long. I think we have to
Okay.
have a second one.
Bert, it was so wonderful to talk to you, and I look forward to the next time when this project has moved along just a little bit more. Sound and data.